Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here because you're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts. And remember, everybody's got a price. $1 Million Man.
This is Don West here, and I'm telling you, Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! Make sure that's the one you check out, because, buddy, like me, they're the real deal, baby!
This is Jake the Snake Roberts. Just letting you know, you need to listen to Knockouts and 3 Counts, or you'll see that damn snake again.
This is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy. And you're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
What up, though, everybody? This is Kyle, and you are listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts. And before we get to our special guest tonight, off a brief little hiatus, we've got another member of the cast with us. How you doing, brother man, Devin?
What's happening, people? What's going on, man?
I don't know, man. Nothing. Whole bunch of stuff going wrestling-wise. NWA's trying to do their thing. Whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and we got some fights to talk about too, man. Everything good in your neck of the woods?
Yes, sir, man. Just down here chilling, man. The main streets of Dallas, Texas.
Well, let everybody know where they can find you now that you ain't in the D no more. Let them know where they can find you on social media, and we'll get to our guest.
You can find me on Twitter at Devin63. That's DEVINTHE63. You can find me on Instagram at All Steak No Sizzle. Is one word. Make sure you check out the Reality Era News group on Facebook. And I think that's about it.
Well, without any further ado, before his fight February 8th at the Deltaplex Arena, Grand Rapids, Michigan, for Lights Out Championship Fighting, we've got El Torro, Mando Gutierrez. How you doing, brother man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Can't complain, man. Living the dream, doing the thing. Maybe not quite all the dream, but halfway there. But let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
On social media, it's pretty simple, unless you don't know how to spell Mexican last names. Instagram is El Torro Gutierrez. Facebook is Mando Gutierrez MMA, of course. But I don't really post that much on it. I post mostly just on my regular one, Mando Gutierrez, and that's where most people have me. And Twitter is Mando Goes 4 Gold with the number 4.
So, first of all, shout out to our friends over at Cage in the Cave. I was listening to your interview with them from a little while back, and they let us in on quite a couple little interesting things that we're definitely going to have to dive into in your extracurriculars away from fighting. But first of all, let's get to what we brought you here for. So, first of all, what got you into fighting in the first place, man? Because it seems like you've got quite the pedigree.
Oh, man. So what got me into fighting for real is it's pretty simple. I grew up wrestling. I wrestled my whole life, and that's pretty much all I knew, it's all I ever did. It's the only sport I really competed in. I played football for a little, but I wasn't worth much for that. I wrestled my whole life, and I was 100% bought in. I gave everything to that sport, and I went all the way through high school. I was pretty damn competitive, and went to college. I made some stupid mistakes back in the day, which led me to quit wrestling, and just pick the wrong school, go the wrong route, and just really fall off. And it was the biggest regret I ever made in my entire life. It was the biggest regret of my life by far. And I just felt really empty without combat sports, and it just felt really weird. So obviously I couldn't go back into wrestling, so I dived into MMA and just decided to, give it a shot. And I'm a balls to the wall type dude. I'm all in. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it all the way. So, one day I just got tired of living in Chicago and packed up and moved to Michigan, where Murcielago MMA was, and I didn't have a gym, I didn't have a job, I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have anything lined up. I just kind of did it, and if it worked out, I got lucky.
What was it about Murcielago that brought you out here to Michigan?
So to really explain the story properly, I'd have to go back to the wrestling days. And so I come from Chicago, where these guys, you know, they're absolutely unbelievable at wrestling. Illinois is just by far the best high school wrestling state in the country, in my opinion, or at least, especially when I was in high school, that it was the most competitive by far. We had the highest density of quality guys going and tearing it up on the national scene, international scene, things like that. So obviously there was a lot of, you know, all-star teams, club teams, things like that, aside from the high school team itself that were, you know, doing big things. And when you talk about, you know, these crazy good teams, obviously there's money involved. And I come from a blue collar family, you know, my parents are just OG Mexican people, just hardworking blue collar people. They didn't have the money for that. You know, they didn't even want me to wrestle in the first place. They supported me by all means, but they definitely just wanted me to work. And so I had to make things happen on my own. And I went to this gym called No Mercy Wrestling Academy in the off season, head coached by David Silva. Today's his birthday, actually. So shout out to my old wrestling coach, David Silva. And he is a hard-nosed dude, just a hard-nosed dude, tough as hell, didn't charge much. He let me come in for free. You know, we were like a rags to riches type of team. You know, we were a band full of misfits that kind of just came together and started beating the shit out of each other on the side. And then it turned into us being one of the best clubs in the state. And we ended up being really successful, just working hard. So that's all I've ever known is just, you know, you don't need a fancy place. You don't need all the money in the world. You don't need all this crazy stuff. All you need is guys that, you know, share the same passion and want to work. And so when I started researching gyms and I knew I wanted to move to Michigan, I kind of just, you know, I started doing my homework. I didn't want to make the wrong choice. So I started looking at the rankings. I started, you know, really doing my research, and all of these guys were popping up, you know, Troy Lampson, Daquan Townsend, all these guys ranked number 1, number 2, number 3 in the state, number whatever, top 10 in the Midwest. And I'm like, where the hell is this gym? There's no Facebook page. There's nothing that pops up on Google Maps. You can't Google that place. Like, there's nothing. And something was just really intriguing to me about that place. So sure enough, I found Troy Lampson on Facebook. I sent him a message, and to this day I have a screenshot saved in my phone, and it's in my favorites folder. And it's the day that I asked him, like, yo, can I come through, check it out? He said, yeah, if you come through and work out, you know, we'll see where it goes. And it ended up just playing out way better than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's quite the story, and it's a story that I think is very unique to combat sports, man. Like, a lot of people don't understand that coach, student, or teammate relationship quite the way you do in fighting. With that being said, man, you're talking about, you know, coming from tough beginnings and things like that, but I also know that you've gotten to do a lot of training, you know, in some of the cool spots. I know that you're real cool with past guests of the show, Cody Stamen. I know that you train a little bit with Kenny Cross as well. Tell me about, you know, like, what's it like for you getting to go out to places like Vegas and go train at the PI and things like that, even if you're not doing camps and stuff there? Like, what does that do for you to, you know, what does that do for you to get that different look in training and in one of the best facilities in America?
Honestly, it's one of those things where when I hopped into this sport, I didn't know how it was going to play out. You know, I knew that I was rocking with the best team, and I really had to, you know, work my way up, and I didn't get any type of attention. No one acknowledged me at my gym when I first started. I had to work my way up little by little, but I was lucky enough to have guys like Troy Lampson, you know, it really took me under my wing because they knew that I was there to work. I wasn't there just to, you know, take part. I was there to really, really make a run at something. And he saw that I was working. He took me under his wing, and he introduced me to all the other guys like Michigan Top Team. And once we were with Michigan Top Team, it kind of like way up a little by little. I started going out there more and more, getting to connect with those guys. And I was lucky enough to, you know, start talking I was lucky enough to meet Cody Stamen before he decided to make the move out to Vegas, and we were able to, you know, get closer, and I was able to, you know, hang out with him a little bit and get to learn from him and soak up some knowledge from him. One thing led to another. He moved out there. I started hanging out with Chad Decker a lot, who's one of my really good friends and training partners, and we started making moves out to Vegas, and you know, things just kind of really picked up little by little. I started winning fights, building a name, and you know, it opened doors for me. So I just try to take every opportunity I can, and ever since I started going out to Vegas, you know, that was multiplied tenfold, no doubt. I was able to start training with guys that, you know, I looked up to ever since that, before I even thought that I wanted to be in MMA, before I even decided that I wanted to fight, that I felt like I had what it took. Guys at Extreme Couture, you know, I started meeting all of them, training with them, and soaking up as much knowledge as possible. And, you know, that's still the goal. I'm just trying to meet as many people as I can, soak up as much knowledge as I can, because little by little, the more the time goes on, the more I realize that I really do have what it takes. I can really do this. And, you know, if you surround yourself with the right people, the people that are hungrier than you know, motivate you to be better, things like that, you'll be able to go a long, long way. And it's really been paying dividends that I've been able to make these things happen for myself through the people that I'm surrounding myself with, and through the work ethic that I have, and the way I'm playing my cards. You know, it's all about playing your cards right. And I feel like I'm trying to hit the game from all angles, with marketing, with training, with working, with everything that I can possibly do to make myself a better fighter all around is what I'm trying to do. And I mean, things have just been going well.
Yeah, man, I respect that. Well, Dev, I know you were having a little bit of technical issues. You got any questions for our guest?
Yeah, I'm back. Mando, whenever we talk about fighting in boxing, MMA, we talk about Mexican fighters, there's like a stereotype that Mexican fighters are tough and don't back down. For someone that is Mexican yourself and is a fighter, man, is that true? And where does that stereotype come from?
It's 100% true. And I love that you asked me that question, because I'm super passionate about things like this when people ask me this. See, the thing is, ever since I started fighting, I wanted to use my platform to really make MMA more known in Mexico. And I really think that I come from the hardest group of people there is. The hardest working, you know, the toughest, the grittiest, the most down-to-earth people there are on this planet. I'm super proud of my culture, where I'm from, my parents, my family, things like that. So, you know, I really want to represent, and I do think that the stereotype is true, and it's for a very specific reason. You know, just speaking in my family alone, not even including, you know, everybody else from that country, just my parents alone, you know, they came here illegally. They came here with absolutely nothing. My dad came here when he was, you know, 15, 16 years old, because my grandpa came here illegally. He was a migrant worker. My dad came, followed his footsteps, started off as a dishwasher at a restaurant, brought my mom over, had us, started climbing his way up from dishwasher to the kitchen, from the kitchen to kitchen manager, from kitchen manager to general manager, worked his way all the way up, and he's the hardest working man I've ever known in my entire life. So it's hard not to look at somebody like that, who didn't even speak a lick of English and made something happen for himself, and think, me having all the resources that I have, having everything at my disposal, how can I not do it and he can, you know? So it's not even about fighting. Fighting is easy. The people that are coming to this country and making things happen for themselves, that's way harder. That's something that's totally different. You know, I mean, I love fighting, and I think it's the hardest sport in the world, and it's the toughest, and it's the meanest, and you know, it takes everything you got and then some. But the thing is, there's more to life than fighting, and there's things in life that are way more difficult, and people don't understand that. You know, to me, all I do is punch people in the face in a cage and train my ass off. You know, I love to do it, but you know, my parents, those are the real hardworking people. Those are the real grinders, the real people. And that's where I learned it from. That's who I owe it to. And, you know, that's just one family. That's not including everybody else in the entire country that was raised the same way, that grew up the same way. You know, whenever I go back home to Mexico, I get to see like my little cousins who like wear the same shirt 3 days in a row, you know, like what, like, I'm over here going through 3 shirts in a practice, no problem, and I have everything at my disposal. You know, they're over there really grinding. That's totally different. And you know, so the guys that are able to go fight and able to you know, live out their dreams, it's almost like a weight is lifted off your shoulders rather than having the pressure of, you know, being a Mexican fighter and being held to a certain standard. It's the opposite. It's that you're doing it because you love it. And, you know, why not? Why not go out there and get your ass beat and just keep stepping forward and go beat the shit out of somebody, you know? We're the toughest. We're the meanest. And that's just the way I see it.
So before we get to the next question, man, and before we get into this fight you've got coming up at Lights Out 7 against Adam Kher, you know, it's refreshing to hear somebody, especially somebody young, talking about how having a good upbringing at home and things like that are a good drive for them. And before you pack the house out in Grand Rapids, as we mentioned at the Deltaplex Arena, if you need to get your own house, Stransky and Company is the way to go. Stransky and Company is a top-producing real estate team that specializes in individual strategy, over-the-top service, and continued success for their clients. They're the real estate easy button. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest, call them at 248-563-9449 or email them at admin@stranskyandcompany.com. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Stransky and Company. And if you go to our website at ko3cpod.com, you'll be able to see all the links to their websites, all the links to their social media, and all of our back catalog. So check out ko3cpod.com, but more importantly, check out Stransky and Company. Now, back to you. So we've got a fight coming up, February 8th. You're going to be going against Adam Kher. It's going to be a good matchup for you because from what I can see, it says that he's 6-1, good, solid record. You know, you're still undefeated. You were undefeated as an amateur. You're 2-0 as a pro. Give me your thoughts on this fight, and do you see this as a big step-up fight for you, or is it just another day in the office?
Honestly, yes, I do think that this is the hardest fight I've ever taken. It's a fight that I knew was coming all along. You know, it's a name that's fun fact for you guys. I wouldn't call it bad blood because I don't really care for this bad blood. You know, like it's all for show, all this fighting stuff. You know, it's just for show, just to sell tickets and, you know, raise awareness and things like that. But before I made my amateur debut, you know, I was still wet behind the ears, but I was so ready to go. I was so ready to do things. And Adam was already 4-0 and he already had a belt and things like that. And I wanted to go right for it. I wanted my debut to be against him. And, you know, I was tagged in something on Facebook before anybody even knew who I was. And the first thing that he said was, you need to get your wins up before I give you a shot, and, you know, just try to belittle me. And all along I knew what I had, you know, and all along I knew what I had to offer and what I was capable of. So I took it as disrespect. And so I went and did just that. I got my wins up. I took 7 fights in one calendar year, won all 7 of those, 6 of them in the first round. And in that same exact amount of time, he took 0. He took 0 fights. And he asked for me after my 7th fight, and I turned him down and I said, "Get your wins up." So, you know, that went both ways. That's the type of dude I am, you know. It's an eye for an eye. So he got his wins up. He lost to his one blemish on his record is from one of my training partners, Chad Decker, who beat the dog shit out of him. And, you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. I mean, he wanted it. Now he got it. So here we go. Obviously, if I would have had it my way, I think that he's a really talented fighter. I think he's going to get a lot of wins as a pro. I wish I got to beat him up when he had a couple wins as a pro already. So it did a little more for my career because, you know, when people look on paper, I'm fighting a debut fighter at the end of the day, a guy that's never had a pro fight. So, you know, the people in the state that know who he is and have respect for him obviously know that he's a big deal. But people outside of the state and the people that I'm trying to have notice me don't know who this guy is. So I would have, if I had it my way, obviously I would have rather beat him when he had a couple of wins. But it is what it is. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to finish him just like I always do. I'm working my ass off to show out, and, you know, you really shine just like I always plan on doing. And I got some things up my sleeve. I'm really trying to put on a show and go out there and perform. He's a really talented fighter. He's tough. He has good cardio. He has good output. He has a lot of good people behind him. He has a lot of good wins, and it's definitely a test for me. And he's bringing out the best in me, and that's what makes me the most dangerous that I've ever been. Is that this is the most motivated I've ever been. It's easier for me to train hard. It's easier for me to want to put in extra work on top of everything I'm already doing, just because I know he is good. So I want to go out there and prove something to myself. I don't care about proving anything to anybody else. I want to go out there and prove something to myself that even if I know someone else is training their ass off to beat me, I can still beat the shit out of them, and it won't even matter. It don't matter how hard they work. I work harder.
Dev, I can already see he teed you up. So what do you got?
Well, my question is, my question is, you're saying that there's not necessarily bad blood, but there is something that you feel that you gotta have a little bit of a history, man. Are you gonna be able to go in and keep yourself focused in this fight, or are you really wanting to get that knockout to really rub it into his face for dissing you before?
Actually, here's the thing. Every fight I've had, people love talking shit to me. They love talking shit to me. And there's a very specific reason for that. It's because I feel like everybody around here knows me as the good guy, and they know me as the guy that, hot on the block right now. Everybody knows that I'm a guy that has a lot of following, a big following. So they're just all trying to make a name off me. They're trying to get a rise out of me, but it doesn't work. I've been doing this my whole life. I feel like I've been fighting forever, even though I've only had 9 fights. All this is a wrestling match with punches, and I go out there and I have fun. If you've ever seen me, the last thing I'm doing is frowning. I literally smile in my fights. There's no way that anyone can get under my skin, because when we're out there for one thing. They can say whatever they want. At the end of the day, we're going to get locked in a cage, and it's going to be what it's going to be. I don't fight with emotion. I fight with strategy. I fight with my brain. I fight with, I fight with my skill set and my reactions, and I just fight with a whole lot of trust in my training and my coaching, and I just go out there and do what I need to do. If I could say one thing about myself as a fighter, is that I'm efficient, and I'm going to be efficient. I'm going to go out there, control my emotions, stay composed, and do what I need to do, weather the early storm, and finish him in the first round like I always do.
Well, that answered my next question. I was going to say, so how's this fight going to end? But you've pulled your inner McGregor out here and called your shot. So,
honestly, see, look, there's more to it than that. I just said a first finish. I'm not going to tell you. Like, all I'm saying is this: if he stops the takedown, which I highly doubt he's going to do, I'm 100% confident that I could take anybody down in my weight. I don't care who it is, UFC, anything included. I don't care. I can take them down. I know for a fact in my mind that my wrestling translates over perfectly for MMA. My style of wrestling on the mat transferred over perfectly. I can take anybody down. I'm not worried about that. If I see a hole on the feet, I'm going to keep it on the feet, and I see plenty. If I want to take it to the ground and I can feel like I can finish him on the ground quick, and I see plenty, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Either way, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try to shine. I'm going to just fight my fight and, perform to the best of my abilities, and God willing, I'll leave with the W, and I'll do everything in my power to make sure that happens, and do it in a fashionable way that makes me look good, because at the end of the day, that's what I'm known for. People know that when it comes to me, you don't blink, because it's going to be a quick finish. People drive all the way from Chicago, drive 4+ hours to come watch me fight for 30 seconds, and that's how it goes. And then we go get turned. That's it.
I mean, that sums it up, bro. I think that puts a bow on the fight part of the questions I had for you for the fight. Let everybody know where they can get tickets and stuff at, and if you're still selling tickets, all that good stuff, and let them know about the fight one more time before I get into the other side of Mando over here.
Yeah, I'm definitely still selling tickets. I like selling a lot of tickets. I like having a big crowd. I do shirt discounts. I always do shirts for all my fights. So if anybody wants a shirt, they get a discount on that. If they buy tickets through me, I'll mail them to you. I'll put them on will call. I'll meet up with you. I don't care. I'm a hustler. I like selling tickets. I like putting asses in seats, because at the end of the day, this is entertainment. I like winning fights, and I like being a showman. I like doing things for the people, and I want people to be there and watch me put my work to good use. I want people to see me have my skills to good use. And, you know, I just want to put on a show for everybody. The more the merrier is what I like to say, and I want everybody there to see my hard work pay off.
Well, man, you need to be in the building. Make sure.
If anybody needs tickets, let me know.
Hell yeah, man. Come hit up Mando for some tickets, man. Make sure you're in the building February 8th, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Deltaplex Arena. It's going to be a hell of a card. Matt Friendo has outdone himself on this one, man. And you just heard this man cut a WWE-style promo telling you how he's about to whoop old boy's ass over here. Okay? So if you talk about,
I just work harder, man.
Look, bro, you talk about talking people into the seats, okay? I think you just did that with that promo.
Hey, Kyle, I got one more fight question.
Hell yeah, do it.
We'll move on. All right, so what's the chance of you coming out to Finn Balor or Edge's theme song?
Oh, I definitely can't do that, but if this is the perfect segue to get into that side of things.
Hell
I definitely will not walk out to anybody else's music but my own, because people know that when you come watch Lil Mando fight, I'm walking out to Caspa del Diablo by Originales de San Juan, because that's my song. That's my people. And it reminds me of my dad. That's why I listen to that song. It reminds me of my dad. When I think about my dad, I get fired the fuck up. I'm telling you. I get so hyped. And people get hyped because no one walks out to what I walk out to. And the fact that my opponent is already standing in the cage cold and can't understand a word that they're saying, it's even better. You know, so it's a double whammy. I'm never going to switch up my song. But when Finn Balor comes to my fight, which he's already said he's going to do one day, he'll walk out to his own song. Oh, I mean,
Sweet.
Obviously, I got a lot of respect for him. So I don't know how we're going to play our cards when the time comes, but when Finn Balor comes out to one of the fights, he's probably going to stay low. So, you know, we're going to have to keep him in the back and stuff. But, you know, people are eventually going to find out that he's there. So we'll see. But God willing, he'll be at one of these fights and, you know, he'll be able to see what's going on.
First of all, nice job, Devin, trying to upstage me on transitions and stuff. But I still got you. I'm the king of the commercial, bro. But that being said,
it was a legit question, man. I was legit wanting to know.
Hey, I ain't mad at you, but Mando, you took me right into one of my questions for you. First of all, for those that don't know, I mean, this dude's game with the Clippers is serious over here. Okay, if you ain't following it, check it out. What is it? Mando Cut It? Is that the Instagram for it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
is.
Man. Check old boy out. Check
man.
These cuts out over here, man. And that segues right into what we're talking about. So, you know, anybody of our fans that watch wrestling, which is quite a lot of you, and thank you to all of you who showed up this past Sunday at B-Dubs, Detroit, Michigan. We had the whole upstairs of that joint filled out, packed out. Shout out to the boys from Breaking Down the Ring. So to all of our wrestling fans, man, you guys always see the Maestros Classic guys in back doing people's beards and cutting people up and all that shit. These guys are sponsoring old boy over here. So explain to me how the hell you ended up with Finn Balor in your chair, bro.
All right, so check this out, bro. So remember how we talked about me going balls to the wall with everything and just being all in?
Yes, sir.
All right. So just like I was all in when I moved to Michigan and just said, fuck it, and just came out, I did the exact same thing when I shot my shot. I went to the Arnold Classic, which is in March every year in Columbus, Ohio. And for years I had seen them there. And I knew that I'm one of the best barbers out here. I know I'm better than everybody at cutting hair. I'm super confident in it. So I walked right up to the dude. I came and I showed up all the way at the Arnold Classic with all my tools and walked right up to the booth. And I said, hey, man, I know you already have your select group of guys working here, but I know it's a long day. I know it's 4 days in a row. If anybody gets tired, put me in. I'm right here. I'm ready to go. Here's my pictures. Here's my tools. I'm ready to go. And I won't get tired. I won't take any breaks. Let me know. I'll be here. Sure enough, the next day he called me. He said, hey, are you still in town? Do you want to help out? Unfortunately, I had just left because he called me on Sunday and I was already on my way home. But he said next time that the opportunity presents itself, I'll for sure let you know. And sure enough, a couple months later, you know, he remembered my name. He remembered that I came right up to him and I had the confidence in my abilities to do something like this. And he told me that his best friend was actually moving out to Detroit. And at the time I was working from Grand River Barber Company, which I still love to this day. Unfortunately, things didn't play out and I don't work with them no longer. But I still got nothing but love for them and the owner Grant and everybody else that works there. So shout out to them. But yeah, so he came through to the shop, got cut up by my boy Grant, and next thing you know, he loved the cut. He told his best friend Anthony, which is the owner of Maestro's Classic, and he basically decided to assemble a team to take care of the guys when they came out to Little Caesars Arena for the first show at Little Caesars Arena when they came out for a Raw show. And I got to meet everybody there. It was me, Wayne, and Grant, and we showed up and we killed it, and he loved us. So he asked us to come back, and, you know, we kept doing it. And every time they're in the Midwest, he gives us a holler. So shout out to my day one sponsor, Maestro's Classic. I got nothing but love for him for giving me a shot and letting me, you know, live out my dreams on that side of my world as well, because that's something totally different. You know, that's a totally other passion that I have that people don't know about. And he gave me an opportunity, just gave me a shot, just like Murcielago gave me a shot, and believed in my skill set and my confidence. Anthony did the same thing with Maestro's Classic, and he gave me a shot, and, you know, I was able to do most of it and impress him. And, you know, I was able to work hard and, you know, do some things for myself with that. So I got to meet a lot of cool guys, and now I see a lot of these guys that are on TV. I see them as friends, and they're some of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. So it's really cool.
Dev, I know you got plenty of questions, so you're up on me.
Man, I want to hear some names, man. So who's some of the people that you cut, and who's some of the people that you got to meet?
Literally everybody. You'd be so surprised. These dudes line up to get their hair cut. They love it. They love it. But the names that really, really stick out to me are Sheamus, Finn Balor, Callisto, and a couple other guys like that. You know, there's quite a few guys that I've been cutting up that I really, really like, because they're just so down to earth. You know, it's almost as if it's just because we share like a common factor in our life, and it's that we both live really unconventional lives, and we have really, really lofty goals. You know, things that normal people wouldn't understand. You know, I want to get paid to fight people in cages. They want to get paid to wrestle people in front of thousands of people. And it's just something that normal people just don't understand. They're like, oh, you want to make money doing that? Or what are you going to do for money? You know, what are you going to do?
Right.
Like, oh, that's what you want to do with your life? Like, that's it? To them, it's like, that's it. But to us, that's our world, you know? So we really vibe on that. And we always have stuff to talk about, you know? So, oh, by the way, other guys I want to give a shout out to are Dash and Dawson, because those guys are the truth. Super
Hell
cool dudes.
yeah.
Hell yeah. There's so many of them. Like, honestly, I haven't met a guy there that I didn't get along with. These guys are so cool, so dope outside of the ring.
So
off the camera.
Before you go any
awesome
farther
people.
about them, I gotta ask. So is what you're trying to tell us that you were the one that showed him how to throw that right hand that knocked old boy out at Mania when he tried to jump Bret Hart?
I wish.
I gotta tell you the story about this, right?
Dash and Dawson.
Wait, so I gotta tell you the story about this. So I was down there at Mania. Yes, we don't got the bell, Devin. So fuck you. We're not ringing it, because this time you're gonna be down in Tampa with me for Mania. So, anyways, I was down there in New York. I was actually at the Garden at the G1 Supercard show, and the Hall of Fame was happening across the bridge over there, over at the Barclays. And as all this shit's going down, I assume you being a wrestling fan, you know what I'm talking about. So as all this is going down, I'm sitting in the Garden and I see this video of this dude jumping Bret Hart, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Literally, right as I'm watching the video, Enzo and Cash jump the rail and get the holy dog shit beat out of them at the Garden. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on in New York right now? Because hot damn, you got people jumping in out the crowd at the Hall of Fame trying to jump Bret Hart. You got people jumping over the rail at the damn Garden. Man, they're wilding out here in New York.
No, yeah, it was crazy.
With that being said, man, what is it that got you into wrestling? What are some of the wrestling memories for you? And you said you're starting to keep up on it. Is there anything that's been recent that you liked? And better yet, you know, he mentioned it. You know, are you going to come out to an Edge song or any of that? Tell us what got you into wrestling, and tell us what you thought about Edge.
By saying, bro, come on now, bro. You can't not ask me about current things that are going on right now and not have me mention Edge. Are you serious? That's crazy.
I was getting there.
That goes way past wrestling alone. That's just like that's real life shit. This dude couldn't wrestle. Like the doctors told him your life is at stake. Like the rest of your life will drastically change if you keep doing what you love doing. And this motherfucker does it anyway.
And he's going to keep doing it because he was out on TV the next night.
I mean, he's a savage, dude. That's so cool. And that really makes my heart full. I'll be honest with you. I haven't been keeping up with the storylines as much the last few months just because the preparation for the last couple of fights and holidays and stuff like that. You know, I'm just never on TV. I'm never watching TV unless I'm watching UFC fights. I'm not watching TV. And I kind of keep up through Facebook and stuff like that because Matt Brendo, you know, he's a good friend of mine. He's obviously my boss too. He's always posting about it, so I really stay up with it. But it's just really cool to, you know, keep up with things like that. And hopefully soon I get a chance to go back out to one of the shows and, you know, keep working with them and catch up with everybody. Because at the end of the day, they're really cool. They're really cool. You know, they always ask me about my fights and stuff, and they're really supportive. You know, a couple of them buy shirts here and there, so it's really nice. But you know, I've been a wrestling fan since I was a little kid. I was all about it when I was super young, you know, from elementary school all through like late in my middle school years. I was a really big WWE fan, and I was always keeping up with it. And you know, it's just one of those things where over time, you know, as I grew older, I kind of just stopped doing it because, you know, I started chasing girls, started playing sports and all this and that. And then next thing you know, I got right back into it. You know, things just kind of fell into place, and I started falling back into it, and here I am. So, yeah, that's kind of how it went. I remember when I was little, every Friday night, I'd be calling all my friends before Friday Night SmackDown started. Back when they had the killer lineup, they had Batista, they had Rey Mysterio, you know, killing it every Friday night. You know, I missed the golden era. I was still a youngin' because, you know, I'm only 22, so I missed the golden era. But I would always watch YouTube videos and just try to, like, you know, stay up with that because I would always watch the throwback videos and things like that. But, you know, my guys, I came up on Rey Mysterio. I came up on guys like that. So it was really cool to get to see them and meet them in person now. And, like, you know, life's just kind of come full circle to where now these guys are, like, I talk to them like normal human beings. So, you know, like, if it was little old me back in the day, I would have been flipping out. And I mean, I'm still flipping out on the inside, but I gotta be professional. You know, I'm there for a reason, so I gotta look the part.
So Devin and I can relate with that because in the last year, man, we've gotten to do some pretty cool things. Like we're working with DDP and guys like out in AEW and stuff like that. Dude, it's so crazy when you get to start doing stuff like this and you get to talk to those guys and you realize, oh shit. They're people. Like, it ain't like, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's like, you know, you get people, and Dev, I know you've gotten asked this because we've gotten asked the same question while we've been together. Like, people go, well, how do you do interviews with these people who, you know, you've watched, and how do you not, like, trip out and all this stuff? Dude, it's like you said, when you're there to be professional and you're trying to, you know, show what's up, it's, yeah, dude, it's a whole nother thing. But at the same time, like, I feel like once you kind of break down that wall with them and you show them that, though, they find that cool. Because at the end of the day, these people are fans too, man. So it's... Oh, what happened?
Oh, yeah, they're all really cool people. And the craziest thing is, like, not only are they human, they're dope. Like, they're cool as hell. And it's like, they're out there living their dream. You know, what do they have to be upset about? They don't got shit to worry about. They're getting paid to live out the dream that they've had since they were little. So it's pretty cool. And, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy how, like, there's now when we were little, we were dreaming about shit like this. And now it's like, I'm getting paid to be here. I'm getting paid to be here and talk to these people and deliver my services to these people. And it's the wildest thing. And you guys, I'm sure you guys can relate. Definitely, like you just said, it's crazy that you guys, you know, it's a really unconventional thing that people wouldn't really think of doing. Like, you guys are out here doing a podcast, getting paid to do sports coverage of this stuff. And to some people they don't understand, but to you guys are making a living off of doing this.
I
And
wish.
That's what's so cool about it.
we got
Maybe
sponsors, but one day.
Bro, honestly, I tell people, just like Cody Stamen always says, I get paid to make weight, man. I'd fight for free. I'd fight a motherfucker on the street if I had to. But
I love that shit, dude.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. It's what you love to do, so it's what you do.
Deb,
it keeps you out of trouble.
Deb, what before we wrap up here, what else you got for our guests real quick?
Well, it's kind of talking about the same topic, man. But I want to ask you from a fighter and a guy that's working behind the scenes in WWE. When we do these shows, sometimes we're behind stage and we get to learn things that you wouldn't want to learn. You kind of see how the magic trick is done, and it kind of, I ain't gonna say it ruins it for you, but you learn stuff that most people don't know, as being fans of wrestling. So as a person that's behind the scenes, as actually a fighter that's been backstage at WWE events, man, has, basically being behind the stage kind of damper your being a fan? Has it kind of ruined the experience for you at all? Or are you just still a fan of each regardless?
I think it's the opposite, bro. Honestly, I think it made me more of a fan.
Okay.
And there's a very specific reason for that, because I see these people and they're over here talking to me about their kids and their wives, and like, oh, I got this bum knee that I've been wrestling on for 6 months, this and that. And I'm like, bro, you're out here jumping off the top of a steel cage talking about you got a torn ACL. What the hell? So it's just crazy to me. It's just like, I mean, obviously I really root for them. And now that I know them as people, rather than just, like an entertainer on TV, I root for them that much more. Like Kalisto is a class act. Cool ass dude. Famous, same thing. Cool ass dude. The dude literally told me to pull up on him when I'm in Nashville. So it's crazy. It's just like, these guys are just so cool. Like now when I see them on TV, I'm like, I think of real life stuff. I think of real life conversations that we have. I think of their kids names, what their kids do. I'm like, this dude's here right now getting a guitar smashed to his head, steel chair smashed to his head, and tomorrow he's about to be at his little kid's pickup soccer game at 9 a.m.
Hey man,
it's crazy. I don't know.
We say the
really
same thing all the time, bro. It's like, Devin, I wish you could have been there for that one, but the one for me that it totally like pops out, bro, is when we did the DDP thing last year, man, because they sat him like right next to us, right? Because our buddies from Breaking Down the Ring had a table and shit. And literally they sat him right next to us, and he looks over, looks at all the signage and goes, so you guys are a podcast, so are you going to interview me, bro? And I'm like, it was literally just like that. I swear to you on everything. Nick and everybody can co-sign it. And like, I looked at Nick and I was waiting for one of them to say something. I'm like, well, if they ain't, I will. And when we did it, man, like you realize like after that, bro, they're just cool as shit. Like DDP, a guy I watched since I was like 6 years old, bro, like fist bumping us every time we walk by. It's fucking wild.
Hell yeah. And then it comes full circle, bro. Came full circle for you right there.
It's fucking wild, man. We got to do stuff with Sports Illustrated, man. And we're going to be seeing you in Sports Illustrated after you get another win here, go 3-0. Deltaplex Arena, Lights Out Championship 7. Before we let you get out of here, man, let everybody know where they can find you on social media and everything, and let them know one more time where they can get tickets for the fight.
You can get tickets to the fight directly through me. Hit me up on anything, any social media you want. I'll make it happen one way or another. I'll fly them bitches to you if I have to. But I'm telling you, I want people there. That's all I want. I want people there. Come through, show some support. There's some killer guys on the card. Kenny Cross, Lozano. You got Cody Brundage. You got all types of killers on this card. It's gonna be super fun, and I'm really excited. I got a couple teammates fighting on it too. So come through. It's gonna be awesome. And if you want me to, you want to watch me starch Adam Kher, you do. I promise. Because I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna let everything come full circle. All the things that he said, all of this time he's been asking for me. He's finally going to get what he's been asking for, and it's going to be great. So come through, watch that. Find me on Instagram, El Torro Gutierrez. Find me on Facebook, Mando Gutierrez MMA. And find me on Twitter, Mando goes for gold, number 4.
Hey, man, that sums it up. And there's a good chance I might be making my Lights Out debut for that one, man. So I might be in the building with my damn self.
Hell yeah, come through, man. It could be dope.
Hey, man, I might have to get in touch with you here in the next week, get me a ticket or something. Friendo, if you're listening, hey, man, I'm coming down there. With that being said, Dev, throw your social media out. Glad to have you back, brother, man. And should we let them know what we got coming on next week?
No, let them guess, man. Don't even tell them.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking, man.
So
I'll let you throw that out there. I'll throw my social media out real quick. You can find me on Twitter at Devin63. That's DEVINTAT63. You can find me on Instagram at All Steak No Sizzle. That's one word. Make sure you check out the Reality Era News group where we talk wrestling. And you mentioned DDP, man. So I just want to let everybody know that when you see me doing my leg kicks and my bends and my flexors, just know I'm part of the DDP yoga family now, man.
Oh shit, DDP! All the more reason you got to come back on the show, dog. Hey, man, you heard it.
And real quick, man. We talk about we get to know people in the wrestling business. I want to give a quick shout out to Lindsay Snow, man. She's now
hell
a member
yeah
of the NWA family, man. We had her on the show. I was just talking to her last week because I got some more of her coffee, man. She's a great person. I'm getting a tattoo from her soon.
Me
so I just
too.
want to give her a quick shout out.
Yo, so stay tuned to the Knockouts and 3 Counts podcast Instagram. As many of you guys know, I got plenty of tattoos. Mando, you got me beat by a shit ton. But it looks like Devin and I might be coming home. Me and Devin might be coming home from Tampa with some stories, courtesy of past guest of the show, Lindsay Snow. Like he said, shout out to her getting signed to NWA. Check out NWA Power. I believe she might be on the debut episode that's on tonight. If not, you can check her out in season 3. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Detroit Knockout, at Detroit NOKOUT. Make sure you're following the show, Knockouts and 3 Counts Podcast, at KO3C Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And with that being said, make sure you check out Mando, February 8th, Lights Out, Lights Out 7, Deltaplex Arena. And if you're at Astronomicon, check out Knockouts and 3 Counts, as we will be there soon. And, I told you guys I'd give you a little bit of a surprise of who you can check out next week. I'll just leave you with this. There might be another French Frankenstein spotting on Knockouts and 3 Counts. Stay tuned. With that being said,
World champ, baby.
Damn it, motherfucker.
What? all I said was world champ.
I totally was leaving it with the Frankenstein part, and he goes, world champ. Well, now you got it.
I could be talking about our guest, man, the next world champ. All I said was world champ. That's all I said.
Our intro music is More by Punch Deck.